Okay, what do we do with this?
ఆయనకే పెట్టండి.
ಅಂತ ಬೀಳತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ ಕೈಯಲ್ಲೇ ತಗೋಬೋದು.
ಕೈಯಲ್ಲೇ ತಗೋ.
చేతిలో తీసుకోండి.
ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಫ್ರೂಟ್.
Terrific cake, huh?
ಇಡಿ.
ಓ
Don't feed it. No, this is enough to start.
ಬಾಬು ಅಂಕಲ್ you okay. Very creamy. I can also feed you unlike your daughter.
Only once and took away the hand. Then she said, there is a complete flow, free flow of energies in his body. There is not a single bottleneck anywhere in his body at all. He is only concerned about the welfare of people around him and the world. Whenever there are calamities like earthquakes and floods, he is very affected by them because people suffer. And he is like a huge river. It depends on the vessel, the size of the vessel with which you go to the river. You can collect whatever amount of grace you want from him. He is living only for the welfare of humanity, and there is nothing more for him in life. And he is a treasure for this earth. And it was over. So I was amazed because she didn't know anything about UG. Then Bulbul said something about me. She touched her like this and said, "You have a bad back." I was most stunned. How did she know about the back problem? Then she said, "Your children, your daughter who is there abroad, she is going to have an abortion.
Oh.
And your son also will have some problems with his friends, but those problems will be sorted out very soon." Then that was over. So I should have kept quiet. I asked her to say something about me. She touched me and she said, "A very beautiful woman is going to come to see UG. You will fall in love with her. She will fall in love with you. She will force you to marry her. Though you will try to resist it, but you cannot resist. You will marry her and you both will have a son." And that was over. I thought, my God, why the hell did I ask this? Because usually was proposing that I should marry. So many girls were proposing for me. And I resisted all that. So that was over. Then that next day, the session was over. Next day, we were coming to Babu's house. Then they said, "We also want to be with UG. So give us the address." So I gave Babu's address to them. Then they came by a taxi, then we came in our car, so they came there. Then in the evening they told UG was flying to Bombay after another 2 days. They said, "We want to come with you to Bombay." Then UG told Babu, "Please take both of them to the travel agent and book their tickets in my flight." So Babu and I and those two. So we drove to the travel agent, UG's travel agent. Then Babu and that fellow, Robert, they got down. I left them with the travel agent. Then I could not get parking, so I had to go far off and park the car. So I was sitting alone with her. Then I asked her, this was a very, very surprising conversation I had with her. I asked her, "Are you interested in spirituality?" She said no. Then I said, "Why did you come to see UG?" She said, "Something very strange happened some 6 months back. She lives in Texas, and her father was the manager of the Star Wars project of President Reagan. He is a very big defense contractor, extremely rich. She and her daughter, she already left the husband, she and her daughter were staying with the father. She said, "One day I walked into my hall and in front of me, a person materialized. He was a stranger and he was dressed so differently. I knew he was not American at all. So I was stunned and I just stood looking at him. And my daughter, who was coming from the other room, she also saw him. Then she held my legs like this and we both were looking at him like this. So he stood still for 5 minutes and then disappeared. So she said, I didn't know why this happened and who he was. After a week, Robert, who was staying in the same town, he came to me with a book of Ramana Maharshi. And when I opened the first page, I found the photo of the man who appeared in my house 1 week before. Now Robert told me, I am going to the ashram of that man who appeared in your house. If you are interested, you come to India with me. So we both came to Tiruvannamalai. Then we stayed there for a few days. There in the library, Robert met some Americans who knew Eugene. They said, UG is there in Aircard. If you want to go, you go. And then Robert said, I must meet that man. He is a very interesting person, he said. That is why I came to Aircard to see UG. But I am not interested in spirituality at all. So I was thinking that even such a strange appearance of a great Maharshi in her house, it has not drawn her into spiritual field at all, absolutely. And she is still intent on making money, though she was from a very rich family. And touring all around the world and showing off her powers. Then I asked her, how did you get these powers? She said, when I sleep, I am taken to the planet of the masters. What? Planet of the masters? Where is it? She said, I don't know where it is. But I am my guide. He comes to me when I am deeply asleep, and then he takes me to a different planet, and I name it as the planet of the masters because some more of his colleagues, they appear there and tell me how to know about people and how to guide them. And she said, I get complete protection from these people, from my master guides. And recently there was a burglary in my house, and in America they kill the witnesses. I was terribly afraid that they will kill me. But my master told me in my ears, you have only stolen some things from them in your past birth. So they are not going to harm you. They will take away whatever they want. Just be still. And I remained still completely. And then they took away whatever they wanted, and that is how I am being guided. So then I asked her, by this time it was almost an hour and a half was over. And these people didn't come to my place, to the car. Then I asked her, where is Robert and Babu, where are they? Are they searching for the car? Because I parked it at some distance. Can you find out? She said, no, I normally don't use my powers like this. But anyway, now I'll do. Then she closed her eyes and did like this. And she said, yes, no, they are there with the travel agent only.
Oh my God.
So after another 15-20 minutes, they both came. They located my car and came. Then the first question I asked Babu was, were you searching for my car? He said, no, their computer was down. So we were held up with the travel agent only. So she was completely right. Then what happened? So UG and this batch, they flew away. Then after a week, I went to Secunderabad to be with my nephew and my sister. Then I went to Bulbul. Bulbul told me, it's amazing, Major Garu, whatever she said has come true. When she talked about my daughter's abortion, I thought she was talking about the past abortion, but one has happened now. Another abortion has happened. And my son also had trouble with his friends, and now anyway it is settled. Then I thought, what is going to happen to my predictions? So everything she said was turning right. So this was working in my mind. What will happen? How to thwart all these attempts? UG came to Bangalore. Then he stayed for some days here and some days with him, and then Babu, Subna, myself, we all drove to Madras. My sister was always inviting Yuji and the company. So there, Yuji stayed for 3 days. And on the third day, he was going to Australia. There were 4 Australians who were corresponding with Babu regularly. They knew all the Tithi Vara Nakshatras. And they were sending him greetings for all the Punyatithis.
Every Diwali, ಈ ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ
Rama Bhaktas.
Every
So
Diwali.
Yuji was to fly away to be with them that evening. So then we were all in that hall. Then a face reader Raman came. So he knew Yuji before and then he predicted so many things about Yuji anyway. So this man looks at your face and starts talking. So he came near, he looked at me and said, a very beautiful woman is going to meet Yuji in aircard and you are going to fall in love with her and marry her. I told him, yeah, that's why you better marry. That's why he's also a bachelor. He said, no. This is your past karma. If you don't marry her in this life, you both will be born in the slums of Pondicherry in the next month. You have to marry her. Then I told him, no, don't bother. I am not going to marry anybody. Then he made another great statement. Don't think that this marriage is something connected with pleasure, sir. You, after marrying her, you will have a son. The son's name is Dandapani. He said typically Tamil name. And Dandapani is going to become an Apara Shankaracharya. He will make Hinduism a world religion. So this marriage of yours is for local enough. Don't think it is I was thinking, what is all this happened? So then, whole thing was over. Then Yuji told my sister, make my idlis ready, I will eat and we will go. So then he ate his 3 idlis, then Babu, Subna and myself. We put him in the car, then I drove him to the airport because that flight was there in the evening. So at the check-in, he turned to Babu and said, Mr. Chandrasekhar, I think whatever the face reader has said will come true. Major is going to marry the woman and he is going to have a son and there are no children education facilities there and I don't think he will stay in the Aircard cottage. So you have to arrange for somebody to take care of that cottage. I was thinking, his education and cottage.
You are the one.
I told him, so don't bother. I am not going to marry anybody. Who knows? He said,
Oh my God. This was so humble. One thing that he was always worried.
but so then Yuji flew to Australia. So then Babu rang me after about a week. He said, I want to come and take rest in Aircard. So I am coming tomorrow. I said, okay, welcome. So Babu came at about 12 o'clock. Then we had lunch, then we had a nap. Then 4 o'clock the phone rang. Then Babu picked up the phone. It was Yuji. Yuji from Sydney. He said, he told Babu, saying it was something very wonderful. John Ren Lewis, he is supposed to be a mathematical philosopher. I never knew mathematical philosophers also exist.